He always was going to attack it when defending.
I think like.
People, Deluded, I'm back again as usual. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and in some cases, good night. Big up you lot on Twitch. If you're on YouTube, do me a favor and please smash the like button and subscribe if you haven't, man. We're really trying to get to 70,000 this year, people. I let you down last year. I ain't letting you down again this year. Now, speaking of letdowns, Arsenal fans, there's probably multiple letdowns. I personally think Arsenal failed their players, so the owners and those that make decisions, they failed the playing staff and they failed our fans, you know. And yeah, Liverpool dropped points and yeah, we can do the maths and say it's far from over. It's not over until it's mathematically impossible, even though I would say it's improbable and it's not going to happen. And I would say a bigger talking point, I don't want to be that. I know us Arsenal fans get into that trap, yeah, but I watched the Liverpool game versus Everton on replay, yeah, and I got a couple things to say in relation to that. The first I would say, yeah, football has lost its soul, like naturally, and it's sour grapes. I'm not even saying Everton or Liverpool fans are necessarily doing that. Liverpool are flying in all comps apart from the FA Cup, and there's clearly a golfing class between where Everton are and where Liverpool, right? But people are like, you can't celebrate an equalizer. You can't celebrate when a team's doing better than yours. Everton fans, Liverpool fans, football fans enjoy it. I'd also say I enjoyed the handbags, man. I enjoyed Decore peeing off the Liverpool players. Curtis Jones not trying to let Decore celebrate in front of the Liverpool fans. The Van Dijk shenanigans. This is what football is all about. I have to be that guy, though, as an Arsenal fan. I know we have this victim complex, but boy, if we behaved like that, I know what time it is, people. And I'm not saying Liverpool are wrong. I'm just saying I just want consistency from Jamie Carragher in particular, but it is what it is in that regards, people. So, yeah, man, obviously, I think the fans have been failed by the club. I don't think they've equipped this squad with enough stardust, enough quality, enough bodies in the summer market, going off what happened last season. Obviously, January's somewhat a last chance saloon, whether that's getting a Premier League loan and making Raheem Sterling or Neto's deals permanent. Lol, I'm not with the Sterling thing, making Neto's deal permanent and getting around that. Whether that's exploring, in fact, not even just exploring, getting it done in the loan market, overpaying for Ollie Watkins, trying to accelerate potential summer acquisitions to January, or pivoting. We did nothing. And ultimately, doing nothing is also a decision. Ultimately, doing nothing is a choice. And, you know, like clockwork, bodies have been dropping like flies since the season started. Our manager has said we've got one of the smallest squads several times. Bodies start dropping as soon as the windows close. Martinelli's obviously picked up a knock. And if you've been living under a rock, you would have seen Kai Havertz is now out for the rest of the season, people. Well, without our first choice front three, whatever you say about Martinelli, Kai Havertz and Saka, that is it. Two of those players are our two top goal scorers. Kai Havertz at a push probably scores a lot more goals on a consistent basis than everyone apart from Bukayo Saka, which tells you why you need a player. And, of course, the less players you have available, the more you're running people into the ground. I know a lot's been said, and we're going to go over it around Ethan's ability to play up front. Trossard can obviously play as a false nine. Sterling can play as a false nine. At a minimum, we've got 16 games left. 2 in the Champions League, which we hope obviously is more than that, and 14 in the Prem. It's probably naive to expect those 14 to 16 games, all of our players, especially young Ethan, who's learning physically and already had a muscle injury this season, are going to play 90 minutes. So you fail to plan, you plan to fail, in it. Really, it kind of is what it is in that regards, people. I mean, we screamed, we shouted. I spoke about it yesterday. Big up Jess and Sammy. I did individual live streams with them. So, yeah, it is what it is, man. Costa, go get him. He'll fight anyone. Yeah, you know what? It'd be nice to have him. I don't think we're going to explore the loan market, but I'm not saying we necessarily should, but undoubtedly, Stuart, surely it's got to be an option. Now, I don't think Costa's the guy, the guy, but of the free agents that I've seen on the list, if we had to, I'm having Costa. I'm having the Diaz guy at Real Madrid. I think we could do a thing on a short-term deal. Not that I want it, but we need bodies, really. Like, there's nothing we can do. You know, Arteta's going to have to use the academy, whether he wants to use the Kion Edwards, the Cabbers, the Sago Juniors, the Nathans. He's got to do that. We really miss Obi. Do we? Of course, you can sit there and say, okay, Obi Martin, hindsight's a wonderful thing. There's bare injuries. You probably would have got your opportunity. But then you could flip that and say, what if, next season, Man United have a crisis up front and he gets an opportunity? And you'd imagine we do what we want to do in that. Kai Havertz's form gets back to it. We've also got all the other options that could play there. We signed Sesko. You're going to get less minutes. So I mean, as long as he feels he's made the right decision, that's down to him, man. It is. I wouldn't quite say we miss him. Talented young man, 100%. Nowhere near ready at this moment in time on the 13th of February to play on a consistent basis and lead the line for Arsenal. Now, saying that, whether you're ready or not, he would. If it was up to me and he was at the club, you're getting chances. You're playing. We've got no one else, and Arteta's going to have to utilize the academy. You know, the Nathans, the Sego Juniors, the Kyle Edwards. Whether they're good or not is another story, but they're going to have to be given a platform. If they take their opportunity and they're good and they can become part of the first team, great. If they show they're not quite ready, but they can play men's football, we sell and we keep it moving. Either way, right now, Arteta always speaks about finding internal solutions. He's damn well got to find that now, hasn't he? There's no way around it. Omar, big up yourself, man. Appreciate you tuned in. So, yeah, man, he's going to have to hold that really and truly. So, let's go over things, people. Now, again, if you've been under a rock, I'll quickly go over this Kai Havertz business. I can't imagine Arsenal fans don't know, and it wasn't a hot talking point in pubs, in offices, on the train, any sort of social circle. Kai Havertz has suffered a significant hamstring injury, which is set to rule him out for the rest of the season. The Arsenal star had suffered the worrying hamstring injury scare while on the club's training trip to Dubai. Well-placed sources have indicated the injury will result in Havertz spending a lengthy period on the sidelines. It leaves the striker as a major doubt for the rest of the season. The news arrives as a crushing blow to Mikel Arteta, who is already without several attacking players, Martinelli, Saka, and obviously, you know, now Kai Havertz as well as Jesus joins that. Again, whatever you have to say about Kai Havertz, goals win games. Whether we need a striker, which evidently we do, he's been scoring goals. We can have our criticisms, but we also have to look at the facts. Whatever you have to say, he's one of our top goal scorers. He's got 15 goals in all comps. How many of those have been match-winning goals or crucial goals? I don't know. But you're without Saka now, on paper, obviously with our eyes as well. A match winner. Kai Havertz, a match winner. It's all fun and games talking about winning the Premier League, but on the best of days, if everyone's fit, but we've got a lot to do. And I don't even want to get into the Champions League, sorry. So you lot draw whatever conclusions you want. Apparently, we've explored the option of Tomiyasu undergoing surgery to cure his long-standing knee problem. Wish all the injury players the best. As I said, I've got sympathy for the players that are injured, the fans, not the club. Whether Mikel Arteta didn't use his budget correctly or whatever, whether the targets he was suggested, they didn't feel that was good enough, whether Mikel Arteta has been pleading for signings and they haven't done what they've needed to do, these lot are the guys, and it is what it is. Big up DG, the nation, everyone with perfectly working hearts. Come on, Riley. I know certain man can't say the same. Yo, man. 15 goals from a winger. What do you mean? And we're in problems, man. Like, and I don't want to be that guy, yeah, but in the summer, with everyone fit, I reckon we all think that we're at least, some would say one. I personally think we're two bodies short up front. If you we need a winger and a striker. But I think in the summer, most people, if you bought a number 9 and you didn't get the winger, we'd still be a bit angry, but we'd say, all right, cool, it's calm. Some would probably say the same with a goal-scoring winger. If Kai can chip in, the other players doing what they're doing, obviously Saka and this next guy, we can maneuver. The ideal world would have been both. Had you have addressed those two areas, them two players could have been injured, but by sheer mathematics and bodies, we would have had some more players available. My heart bleeds for Tomiyasu. Serious questions have to be asked. Now, I haven't read this, but Kai Havertz injury deepens Arsenal crisis. Does Mikel Arteta need to rotate more? Is there anything interesting? We know we've just got 3 senior forwards, and even that, big up Ethan, he's part of the first team. But even the language around that, is he really a senior forward in our squad at this moment in time? Put ability to the side, and obviously I believe he is, but being devil's advocate, really, you got 2. Anywho, people, it is what it is. Scroll the way down. For a player so young, Saka has played a significant amount of football. He appeared in every single one of Arsenal's league matches in 2021-22 and 22-23, and sat out just 3 games last season. Across that 3-season span, he's played 88.5% of all minutes available here. I do think people do too much about resting. Players need to play. There is a bigger conversation about the sheer amount of games people play for club and country. The top players do play a lot of football, and I think that is the case. And for the last 2 years prior, I know, you know, it's been a bit of tough love by Arteta, but it's kept working. That being said, on the flip side, we've probably been owed this with I would say Benjamin White and Bukayo Saka in particular. We've clearly played them when they've had knocks. We've not rotated them out the side. Injuries can happen. Like it's simply put wear and tear. And we've had 3 hamstring injuries. That's the 3 more significant, excluding Jesus with his ACL, obviously. Kai Havertz hamstring, Saka hamstring, Martinelli hamstring, and these lot are players that probably are near the upper end of minutes played. Now, I know a lot's going to be said about the training and things like that, and potentially, yeah, Arteta and the boys, they could look at all of that kind of stuff, but clearly it's about recovery. We're not able to rest players and just save their legs. Clearly, there's something going on in terms of recovery, and obviously, not just last season, but the season before. Like, you look at Declan Rice, Saka, Ben White. Well, not really Ben White because of England, but the majority of first team players, like recognized, experienced individuals, they're playing a lot of games for club and country, not just this season, but coming off the back of the COVID year, where I could be wrong, but it feels like we had a Euros and a World Cup back to back. So we was owed this, really. And it's well known Ben White has been playing with knocks. And it's mad because it's come at that December, January period where we all know the games are coming thick and fast. So I can't say we put our best foot forward. I can't say you couldn't see this coming. Maybe not to this extent, but you could see it. We've seen this before at other clubs and our own. Smash the like button. His hamstring injury this season came against Palace, the 6th game Saka had played across a 17-day spell in December 2024. When you have a player as elite and as important as Saka in the side, and that is competing in multiple competitions, you can see why Arteta wants to play him at every opportunity. But one of those matches was a comfortable 3-0 win over Monaco in the Champions League, which Saka played the entire game, scoring twice and setting up the third. His excellence is perhaps part of the problem, but surely he could have been spared there. And again, you could have still got injured, but I would say it's more of a case of, like, the games are clearly won. There's 20 minutes left. You know, if there's assuming we wrap up games 3-4-0 by the 70th minute 5 times, that's 5 opportunities. 20 minutes to go, come off Saka. And at the time, could have probably played Ethan. So it's all coulda, woulda, shoulda, man. But it makes me look at Mo Salah. He seems very durable. What are they doing over there? It's also said Kai Havertz too has been ever present since joining Arsenal. He's made more appearances, 85, than any other player in all comps. Only Saliba, Gabriel Magalhaes, David Raya and Declan Rice have played more than his 6,601 minutes this season. He's played 80.4% of all available minutes. It's important, where have I gone there? It's important to note that not all minutes are equal. Havertz is crucial to the way Arsenal press from the front, leading all Arsenal players for final third pressures per 90 and counter pressures per 90. In the Premier League, it's an active, aggressive role that is physically demanding. Every position is physically demanding, if I'm honest with you. Meanwhile, he's also played a significant number of games, appearing 35 times in all comps. Admittedly, he's rotated more often than a player like Havertz. Who? What? Oh, sorry, Martinelli. Apologies. Martinelli's playing requires a little more rest, but his game is still high intensity. I don't want to read this touch. Everything in the Prem is high intensity. I think we can see in it that there's question marks over how we've built the squad, over the depth, over how Mikel Arteta rotates and utilizes players and starts them and whatnot. Because there has been a couple of times in the League Cups, and when it's become clear that we're going through in the Champions League or Premier League games are wrapped up, where you could have been a bit cute and clever, if I'm completely honest with you. Ironically, the only time Saka will get subbed when I don't want him to is, it feels like there was a couple of occasions last season where we battered teams. You know what we was doing, innit? We're clearing out fans at halftime. Saka's on a brace. We're all waiting for Saka to get his first Arsenal hat-trick, and Arteta's hooked him in it. So it is what it is. If you look in the Premier League this season for subs used and subs per game, we're at 87 for subs used. Subs per game is at 3.6, which actually draws us level with Crystal Palace. But to be fair, well, that's quite interesting, isn't it, people? Pardon me, average minutes played by subs, Arsenal have 17. So I know Arteta speaks about impactors and things like that, but you can evidently see who's rated and who's not. And we've only got 3 fit available attackers now. Raheem Sterling, Trossard and Ethan. Jesus, owing to an ACL. Martinelli, Saka and Kai Havertz, apologies, all suffering with a hamstring knock. I've got all the faith in the world in Ethan. Trossard's been finding his feet. What we saying for Raheem Sterling, people? He did say he's got a point to prove to Chelsea. He is a yard man. You are going to get an opportunity of a lifetime. I wonder how Mikel Arteta approaches it. Does he put Trossard through the middle, Sterling on the left, and Ethan on the right? Does he put Ethan up front, Trossard on the left, or Sterling on the right, which I don't want to see? Or does he put Ethan through the middle, Trossard on the right, and Sterling on the left? I don't know, because, boy, we're going to... And assuming all 3 of them start, God forbid, but if it's a close game, it's 1-1, we're looking like we can score, but we need to bring something off the bench. It's the Highlanders, isn't it? The younger Highlanders, the lesser known entities. on one hand, I do think there's an element of unluck. I do think we've been dealt unfortunate, but at the same time, I don't. I think you make your own luck. I would like to ask everybody at Arsenal in the summer and in January, do you think you did everything you did to equip this squad to achieve its goals, participating in 4 trophies? Not if you tried. I have no doubt that you were talking, you're trying to get things done, you're trying to make sense. People are trying to work within the remit of whatever we're doing, of being self-financing. That's all for you lot. Did you get it done or not? Yes or no? And if they can say yes, then I know it's incompetence. If they say no, then I think you're lying. This is gross negligence. This is incompetence. This is naivety. This is stupidity. To expect everybody on from a sporting front and depth front, to expect Kai Havertz to pick up where he left off in the second half of last season and score goals over a longer period, to assume just because everyone was fit last year that this would happen now. Because look at what you're doing now. Look at what you're doing. And 2 of those players, their futures are subject to speculation. We know Trossard's been a good signing, but he's still linked with a move away owing to his contract stuff. Sterling, you're not going to be at Arsenal next season. Ethan, obviously, there's contract stuff on the back burners, but you're going to be here. Look, bro, look at what we're without. And again, it says hamstring. I wonder when Kai Havertz is back. I wonder when Jesus is back. You know, we're not going to see them probably until pre-season. Well, to be fair, the hamstring boys, apart from Kai, they could be back. For Gabriel Jesus, I wonder how he approaches that, because next year or next season, better yet, is a World Cup year. We're going to have to see, man. Ian Wright has spoken. And what do you lot think of this, people? And Raheem Sterling, the opportunity has arisen for him. This is the time where he should buckle down and say, I have to make this work. Otherwise, he'll go out with a whimper. The last time I saw him come on and do something in a short space of time was against Man United. That's what you want to see from him. Just come on and try to make something happen. The fans are hoping as well. You can hear the groans. So you can feel that he's in that place where he does, if he doesn't do anything positive, he can hear them coming. That's not a great place to be, which is true, yeah. But I'm not being funny. Yeah? I've got past the point of players always have to stand up to be counted. Sterling did it by himself. For a team that finished 2 points off City, to get Sterling on deadline day, that's not the message to send out. And I'm pretty sure the club didn't want that, but we had to save face. You're relying on Trossard, which a bit different, but like Timber, I reckon if you ask Arteta, Timber and Trossard probably played a lot more minutes. You've ran Kai Havertz, Saka, Benjamin White, all these guys into the ground. And it comes back to the summer. And if anything, last chance saloon, it comes back to January. But I don't want to be that guy. I feel sorry for you, Sterling, because it's a relationship of convenience. We had to save face on deadline day. Well, on deadline day in the summer. Chelsea couldn't wait to get rid of you. We needed a player. You worked with Arteta. Clearly got a good attitude, not a bad person. Got some belief in you. You're going to play. It's a mess. And even the summer, yeah, I need to see pivoting. When you look at half of the guys we're linked with, yeah, forgive me if I'm wrong at any point. I'm trying to remember, like, the more quote-unquote credible names that we seem to be linked with. Whether we get them or not is another thing, right? We hear Sesko's got a release clause. We hear Nico Williams got a release clause. We hear Garcia's got a release clause. And we hear Zubamendi's got a release clause. Now, all of these guys are going to be wanted by not just Arsenal, but everyone. If you believe you can get them, if they're your number one targets, if that's the one you want, go great. Go all out for it. But if you don't get these guys, don't sit there and tell me we tried, we can't have anything else. Because we know in the summer, the narrative around this season is going to change. They're going to make out that, not even saying the media is going to make out Arsenal and Liverpool were very close. Injuries is the only reason why we've gone left. We've been dealing with injuries since August. Even going back to last season, which was relatively injury-free. When it came to the running, we did have Partey and that, but we missed Partey, Tomiyasu, obviously Giroud and Timber. And last season, I said this before, one does wonder, if we had Timber and Partey fit for last season, what would have happened? But we're going left with it. It's the same old things, man. So yeah, just make sure you get those players, really. And even that, is there a correlation between all of these guys obviously being good players? Obviously, Arteta seems to like them. But is there a correlation with us doing our homework on Sesko, Zubamendi, Nico Williams, Garcia? I'm sure we're talking on the back burners. Clearly, we know the release clause, but the release clause has to be paid up front. Apart from Thomas Partey, when have we actually paid the release clause up front? And even that, remember when we was going for Partey, it was a big song and dance throughout the summer. We played a game of chicken with Atletico. Clearly, we did the homework that with Thomas Partey, that if we activate your release clause, you're on joining us. And to not look like twats, we had to buy him. So we clearly know we're going after people with release clauses. We're trying to sweep them up. We're clearly going to all of their clubs and saying, you know, we'll even pay you a bit more if it's more favorable terms, which goes back to the self-financing and the PSR. And I think the self-inflicted, self-imposed austerity measures that's taking place at the club, people. We all know Ethan could play as a striker, people. I'm all for it. It's an education for you. I'm not gonna lie, man. I want to see. You see, I know it's not gonna happen because Arteta, he manages the zones. You got a special job to do out wide. But I remember when Spain were the big dogs in the international game. Like Spain was everything. Tiki-taka was the thing. There was times you'd see them play with no striker, and you would see a midfielder occupy the striking position. City used to do it as well. Or you'd see rotation. Now, Trossard, Ethan, and Sterling. I don't know what we're gonna do because Raya can't go long to them all the time. You haven't got Kai Havertz. Gabriel Jesus isn't the tallest, but he gives as good as he gets in it. That's not Trossard's strong point. That's not Sterling's strong point. That's not Ethan's. So we're going to get a thing where you got three kind of rotating eights. They're kind of moving around consistently. I don't know, man. I'm happy I'm not Mikel Arteta. And, big up, Mr. I bet this is Simon Collins. Big you up, but you're clearly cozy with the club, man. You're always coming out with these things. Big up, Ethan. Arteta did say he can develop into a number 9. Young youth coaches have been saying the same. And you know what? Ethan, Lewis Skelly, whether you're going to be a centre mid or whatever position, minutes are currency. You're getting game time. You're getting experience. In the short to medium term, I must admit, I do like Ethan off that right, Ethan's, apart from Saka, Ethan seems to be the only one that pulls the trigger, and he's already got his little trademark finished. And you've probably, indirectly, your emergence the club have probably thought, maybe we don't get another creative guy with Odegaard. Maybe we don't sign another right winger because Ethan can play there. We all know if we're going to buy a winger, they might be able to play on the left and the right, but they're probably going to be suited on the left. So, you saved us some money, man. Big them up. You need your new contract immediately. Big up Lewis Skelly. I was reading this off air, people. We know he's not afraid of no one. We know he comes from a good home and good family. I don't really like Simon Collins' articles, if I'm honest with you. It just seems like he's trying to get cozy with people. But anywho, moving on. Diego Costa and 2 Arsenal flops among uninspiring free agents, as Kai Havertz ruled out for the season. Wait, I mean, we ain't going to say, Lucas Perez is for free. We talk about analytics. For the banter, let's get him, man. I genuinely think, like, Thierry Henry, Dennis Bergkamp, Ian Wright, you, man, just sign a little deal to the end of the season, man. And I know it's silly, but that Diaz you at Real Madrid, or the ex-Real Madrid player, Diego Costa, if it can be done, I wouldn't cry. But, mate, what they say, once a Gooner, always a Gooner. Could get Lucas Perez back. We know we didn't get Ollie Watkins. Yeah, so madness, man. To be fair, he'll end up fighting Mikel Arteta. Arteta's going to have to utilize his squad. We went over that yesterday. Now, it's one thing waffling about release clauses, before we get into this Sesko stuff, people, and carry on. We just need a body. And you know what the thing is, there's nothing wrong with having a body. I hear it. We don't just want players in. That's just a body. There's, we need players that can improve us. That's cool. But in life, things happen, Things go left. Things happen. What is wrong with just having a body? Because a body doesn't mean they're not a good player. And it can just tie us over to the summer. We need bodies. We can't piece together a starting 11. There's going to be bare people on the bench. Some Arsenal fans have never seen their names, man. We definitely need a body. It's gross negligence all round. This situation was completely avoidable. In my opinion, as talented as Ethan is, it's unfair to put so much pressure on him to play every game. Exactly. And it's not going to happen, is it? It's not. It's not going to happen. Even like someone like Trossard. Because Trossard's in the same realm as, obviously, the players that we've seen injured. You've played bit of football. And the same goes for anyone. And as we've seen, injuries can strike at any time. Dons are getting injured in Dubai. Gabriel is falling on Moreno in training. People are getting injured when we're battering teams 5-0. Injuries can strike at any given moment. And Trossard's got to be in that famous red zone. Yes, I'm not looking for any positives. And I'm not, you lot know me, I'm not one of them. I would have rather have been in the League Cup. I'd have rather have been and even that extra time in the league, well, not even extra time in the League Cup, but the 2 legs in that probably played a part. But I'd have loved to have still been in the League Cup. Of course, I would have loved to have still been in the FA Cup, right? But people might look at it and say, you know what? We've had in terms of the compactness of the calendar, right? From November to January, there's been bare games. We've just seen the statistics. We went over it, innit? There's been bare games. At this moment, well, not really next week. I'm sure we play midweek. I could be wrong, but there's a point where we're back to playing once a week. There's an international break coming up, depending on the progress of Saka, which I think we'll see him when the season's done, more or less, in latter April. Maybe Martinelli D's lot come back. You could make a case for that, but this is peak, and that's before I even talk about we can't talk about latter stages of the Champions League, but latter stages of the it's a madness. It's a madness. And again, like I keep saying, injuries can happen at any time. I don't expect to personally see. Of course, I want to see Saka back, and if he signed off, he signed off. And I'm not saying anyone's got any malice here. But with the pressure of the club, with whatever's going on, if the medical room tell those that be Saka's fit, and Saka says yes, Arteta plays him and he gets injured. You can't like Arteta knows that maybe I shouldn't, but he still plays him. Or likewise with Saka, Saka might feel in his heart he's 99.9% fit, but he knows in the back of his head there's that zero whatever percentage that I'm not 100% fit, but I want to play. This is my club. I want to save people. I'm one of the bigger voices in the dressing room. When the captain, he plays, he's in the shitter. At this moment in time, you're right, man. Just let Saka sit down. You come back when you come back. Even that, all our hopes are on a young Ethan, which you should, obviously you're enjoying yourself and there's high expectations, but you should just focus on developing. Like you should be someone that I look at and see more senior players putting their arm around you. I'm looking at Ethan to be a leader. And naturally on the best of days, we're going to have all the faith in the world over Bukayo Saka, innit? You're going to need him to get back up to speed. And again, you're hoping, Declan Rice has had injuries. He's had a lot of minutes. Trossard's had a lot of minutes. You're hoping everyone stays fit. Henry on loan, bring him on for 15 minutes at the end of each game. The vibes would be unreal. I'm with that. Be a nightmare for centre-backs, tricky with pace. Boy, we're going to have to try something, man. There must be some, at this point, as silly as this sounds, yeah. One sec. Smash the like button. As stupid as this sounds, sorry, people. The bottom of the coffee is horrible, man. I can't be me without some water right now. Dramatic the suspense. As dumb as this sounds for me, yeah. Might as well scout non-league at this point. Just go through the non-league thing. I don't know, Dulwich, Hamlet, big them up or something. Whoever's got whatever striker's got the mad stats. Short-term deal to the end of the season and let's keep it moving, innit? It's mad. What's this about Diego Costa? Are people drunk? Brazilian team? Well, we're not getting Costa. It's just for the man. We're not signing Costa because him and Arteta will go fight. I don't know. He's a free agent. So there's a fitness aspect around that. Obviously, I don't know if he cares, but the Chelsea ties didn't really pull up any trees at Wolves. It's not happening. But naturally, we're going to get linked with that, innit? If it's not what we're going to do in the summer, the BS rumors around Isco, Isaac, apologies, Sesko, etc. They got to try a new spin on things. Trophies are not the season's goals, DG. It's top 4 for the board. They've made it clear. Enough of this Sterling thing, fam. He isn't that guy. He won't do nothing. And we'd be better off promoting 1 or 2 of the academy strikers. I pray to God they don't start Sterling. We'll lose. I can have my question marks over Sterling, but I think he deserves my support. At the end of the day, he plays for Arsenal Football Club. And I just want to support you, really. And at the end of the day, you've paid money on his loan. There's nobody else. You've got to play, bro. Like, you've got to utilize him. Do I have too many expectations on Sterling? No. I hope that the footballing gods shine a light on him and say, you know what, Gaza, you've struggled at Arsenal. Chelsea didn't want you. We need a protagonist. We need a talisman. You're one of the more experienced players on paper. In terms of even being a young player in the limelight, what people forget, Sterling's had a good career, man. The man's been here since 16, 17, played for big clubs, reacted to adversity and won stuff and played for England and all that jazz. Hope he stands up to be counted. That being said, of course, I can't sit here and say I'm believing in Sterling. I've just said all of my faith is in the young Ethan, and he's a young player. I just call it as I see it. I think what I've seen from Ethan, what I've seen from Lewis Skelly, majority of the defensive unit, and a couple of others, naturally, I think you lot pull your weight and are a bit more consistent and do a bit more of what I want to see than others. Odegaard got a lot of time for the captain. You ain't been at it this season. Partey, you've done well this season. Jorginho, in the moment, minutes adjusted, expectations adjusted. You've done okay. Ben White, I miss you, geezer. Timber, you've been doing your thing. Lewis Skelly, Saliba, Gabriel, David Raya, of course. A couple of times there's been mistakes. They've did what they've needed to do. Martinelli, you've tried. You've not cut the mustard. Trossard, you're finding your feet. You ain't really cut the mustard. Kai Havertz, at the end of the day, I think you're doing all you can in it within the limitations of you as a footballer. You shouldn't be leading the line for Arsenal. You could definitely be part of the squad, but you're not building the squad. You're not you didn't bring you to this club to be centre midfielder, replace Xhaka, which was an L in itself. Nor did you take a short-term option in yourself, which was initially when Kai went up front because Jesus was injured, and make that a long-term option and been naive enough to expect him to carry on his form last season. Kai's pulled his weight a lot more than others. The Kai Havertz's, the Martinellis, the Trossards, these men should be squad players. We should have curtain raisers, and I can't blame these footballers. Sterling is done, man. I'm not expecting much, man, but it is what it is, man. Big up yourself, Nathan, as well. Irresponsible, shambolic, amateurish, negligence, incompetent, arrogance by all concerned. Damning words from Inner Circle, man. I say we find a cheap free agent that will plug in the hole for the short term, then find that one diamond in the rough that they'll be good fit for the next 5 years. All I'm saying is, with how the season's played out, yeah, in general, with the injuries, with us missing the last 2 transfer markets, really, and all the rhetoric around the summer, these lot better have the best. This summer has to be. When was the last time we had a good summer window? Whatever year it was that we brought Raya Timber and Declan Rice and actually Kai Havertz, right? I would say that. Even that we left ourselves short. You have to address the key areas. I'll push the starting 11. I can't not see another centre mid, not see a winger, not see a striker, and not see more bodies. Didn't even recall Fabio Vieira. Now, I could cut the club some credit and say maybe you thought we was going to do something was going to get done. We're not going to recall Fabio Vieira. We don't believe in him regardless. Arteta just sees him as a body, but didn't want to overpay for Watkins. I'm not saying you're right or wrong. You didn't want to overpay for Ollie Watkins. Unable to try and bring forward, the Sesko kind of deals that would be done in the summer. Couldn't get Morata or Koulibaly or explore or bring anything from the foreign market, either on a permanent or loan capacity. Didn't do something, not necessarily smart, and I'm not saying it's the right thing, but to get around the loan rules in this very country, make Neto's deal permanent, and then see what you can do for the Fergusons, the et cetera, et cetera. You're left with nothing then. And not doing something is also a risk, because people always have people get in their heads. And I'm not saying sign people for no reason, but people get in their heads that we don't want to take a risk, so we're not signing this and that. Not doing something is a risk. Everything's a risk. And this is what we've done 9 times out of 10. And we know the eventualities of this. I hope it's a romantic story. We win the Prem and the champs, or either or, with the injuries, with the celebration police, with the inconsistent refereeing, with all of that. But we're going to... You're ultimately going to fall short, man. Abdullah, one love, my dude. Yo, DG, you got me blocked. Did I do or say something? I don't know if you said anything to my mods. You must have done something, mate. I don't know, man. I trust whoever blocked you. I don't get your argument in favor of Havertz, DG. You can add goals to the team individually while still taking goals away from the team as a whole. Your boy breaks down attacks too often. I don't think we're listening. I don't know how many times have I got to say, but I'm going to say it one more time. So I hope nobody misunderstands me. Do I think Kai Havertz should be leading the line for Arsenal Football Club? No. Do I think he's the man to get you over the line to get 20 goals? No. Do I think we ever should have bought him in the first place? No. Do I think he's a squad player at best? Yes. Where are we going with this? He breaks down attacks, but we know what Kai Havertz is. Kai Havertz is definitely not sexy on the ball. The praise I'll give him, he's versatile, he's a fighter, and I genuinely believe. Listen. If you've been watching Arsenal, if you say Gabriel Jesus, Trossard, Martinelli, Kai Havertz, Bukayo Saka, Ethan for a bit, but the attackers, who's pulled their weight the most? Bukayo Saka. Who's second? Kai Havertz. He's our top goal scorer now. He pulled his weight towards the end of the last year. He's done as much as he can. He's not putting himself up front. Of course, I can criticize the way you're playing, etc. But you're not playing yourself. You're not buying yourself. You're not doing the tactics. And you say that Kai Havertz has been a big reason. He pulls out when Saka was fit. He pulls out into the channels. The ball's knocked long. He wins the first and seconds. I don't know what we're talking about. And I find this thing silly about taking goals away. Not saying you necessarily, T, but this is some rhetoric that is thrown around. Like, if we get a winger, it's taking goals from here and there. Who cares? Who genuinely cares? If you're good enough, you'll score goals. You will. I don't know what's genuinely wrong with that. But once again, we need an upgrade on Kai Havertz. Kai Havertz is not in Arsenal's strongest 11. You can contribute as part of the squad. I think you've been a better signing than ultimately you should have been. But we shouldn't have bought you in the first place. Yet here we are. And it's nothing to do with being in favour with Kai Havertz. If we have not brought in Isaac, Sesko, Nico Williams, this, that, and the other, and everybody's fit and whatnot, from what I've seen in the last 2 years, Kai Havertz plays up front. I would rather Gabriel Jesus. He's more my sort of striker. You don't know this, but you don't pull your weight as much as Kai. Saka, it goes without saying. Left wing, it's like lucky dip, really, with Martinelli and Trossard. Trossard's definitely been better than Martinelli. I know Martinelli before his injury, I'm sure he matched his goal scoring from last season in the Prem. What are we talking about? Don't ever think I'm here gassing Kai Havertz. I just have to call it as I see it. And as I said, and I said it yesterday, I'm going to say it again. If I am saying this about Kai Havertz being one of your more consistent players, one of your more reliable players, and one of your top goal scorers, then you're not serious about winning the league. You have to look at how the squad's been built. It's an idiot thing then. That's not serious. I might not like Kai, but I'm not going to agenda him. There's plenty of footballers at Arsenal I don't think should be here. I don't think are good enough. But I'm going to endeavour to call these things as I see it, where fit. I don't think anything of Kivio. I think he's shit. If he plays well, praise. If he plays something else, shaky. I don't think anything of Zinchenko. You get where I'm going, innit? And it's on some brand that we've been talking about strikers. Apparently, RB Leipzig hope to sell Benjamin Sesko for 100 million in the summer. Now, there's some that say he's got release clause. Some say gentleman's agreement. For me, gentleman's agreement is scary in business. You hope people honor that. But if it's not set in stone, I's dotted, T's crossed, and you would imagine, like last summer, he's going to be linked with everyone and anyone, man. Sports Blind reports that RB Leipzig will hope to sell Sesko for around 100 million euros this summer if the Slovenian leaves. Sesko extended his contract at the Red Bull Arena last summer until 2029, but there's a gentleman's agreement between the player and the club. He can leave for at least 70 million euros in the summer, which about 60 odd. As this is not a release clause, Leipzig are hoping they can create a bidding war and push his price to over 100%. Like the striker market's dead. Been linked with Arsenal, Chelsea, and United, and he probably even now, not that Newcastle need a forward like that, but even linked with them. Naturally, if you're Leipzig, you don't really care where he goes. You just want to sell to the highest bidder, especially when you hear Premier League clubs are involved. Arsenal are at the hottest candidate. What? Arsenal at the hottest candidate when it comes to potentially signing Sesko. The Premier League side have repeatedly tried to sign a striker in recent transfer windows as they desperately need a number 9, but he stayed in the Bundesliga. Milan, Chelsea, Real Madrid have all been linked, but the desire for a striker for them at the moment does not seem immediate. Chelsea's Nicholas Jackson's injured and Nkunku probably leaves. He could play out there. They're definitely looking at one. This season, the 21-year-old has 9 goals and 3 assists in 20 Bundesliga games, but is still too inconsistent in his performances to move to a top club. Sesko has been at Leipzig for 18 months, and although he has his moments of magic, still looks far from the finished product, especially for a team that has title ambitions, which, depending on how you feel, that could say a lot. It's 21. I'm not expecting you to be consistent, but at the point of Isak signing for Sociedad signing Isak, he definitely wasn't. When Newcastle signed him initially, he definitely wasn't. You can see that, but they've seen the vision. So you've got two options. Three. You either scout these dons. You either wait for them to, if he's playing in Slovenia, he's ended up at Leipzig. Obviously, you either scout him when he's actually in his homeland, or you get him when he's at Leipzig, when he's a bit raw, you develop him, or you wait until he's the finished article, like you're seeing with Isak at Newcastle, or any player, and you pay the asking price. Like, it is what it is. All you do neither and talk about we tried. I'm not too sure, man. Defining time for Sterling. I ain't got my hopes up. With the greatest of respect, like, just hope I see Ethan score some goals. Arsenal get 3 points. Again, I think Arsenal going to win at Anfield purely because the league's going to be done by then. Kai's a winger, not a striker. You want to see Kai Havertz on the wings? Why ain't he played on the wings then? Seen him play up front and centre mid. We've even seen him play left back for Germany. Why ain't he played on the flanks? Elite striker chooses Arsenal over Man United. We keep hearing this, but until I see him holding the shirt, I don't know. Romano said earlier in February, what we can say is Arsenal considered several options, dream options like Sesko, almost impossible options like Isak, who were never going to leave their clubs in Jan. Arsenal understood it was almost impossible to make it happen now, so these names, Isak and Sesko, remain for the summer. So, yeah, 62.5 million quid seems to be the asking price. Real Madrid apparently believe that William Saliba is the Jude Bellingham of centre-half. So, we know you're going to end up there, but it seems like they're going on the offensive. And with Saliba, he's got 2 years left on his contract in the summer. Be interesting to see not just his future, Martinelli and Saka's futures as well. And big Gabriel Magalhaes. And there's been subsequent rumours. There's talks around new deals for all of them. I mean, we don't want to get involved in any more free agent chatter, do we, people? Arsenal tried to sign a striker in January. We held interest in Sesko, Isak and Watkins. Amazing stuff. None of them rolled in. So me personally don't care anymore. And with that being said, let's start closing some of these things. Liverpool as well as Arsenal, the strongest suitors for PSV winger is Johan Bakayoko. And I'm sure Feyenoord actually beat AC Milan, just on the topic of Dutch teams and not underestimating anyone in the champs. Couldn't you have got that done in Jan, man? Could have got a little hot shot. I mean, Liverpool, you'd imagine they're planning for life after Salah. There's always rumblings around Darwin Núñez's future and Luis Diaz's. Everyone apart from Gakpo at the moment with their attacking lines. Even Jota's been linked with us / moves away. So it doesn't surprise me Liverpool are being linked with other players. They've actually been linked with Isak. If they have Isak and they renew Salah's deal, fucking hell, geezer. But anyways, apparently it will cost 50 to 60 million euros to get this done. Signature. Arsenal are prioritizing reinforcements in their attacking department ahead of the summer transfer window, with Athletic Bilbao winger Nico Williams emerging as their top target. That's according to reports in Spain that have also credited Real Madrid, Barca, PSG, Manchester City, Liverpool, and Bayern Munich with interest in the Spanish Euros winner, people. This season, he's got 4 goals and 5 assists in 30 games across all comps. For club in total, he's got 24 goals and 31 assists in 500? I'm reading 2 things at once. 152 games, folks. Okay, so it's just the same old names. If it's not Isaac, if it's not Gyökeres, if it's not Sesko, then it's Nico Williams. Then, yeah, it's the same old. We ain't learned nothing there. That's great stuff. The Italian media is now unanimous that Vlahovic's Juventus career is over. I mean, Arsenal were linked with him in the past. His contract is running down. He's the highest paid player at both Juventus and in Italy. They got Koulibaly Muani on loan. He's doing quite well for them. Naturally, he's going to get linked with moves away, people. Juventus want to sell him. In terms of scoring goals, you're not the worst, and I wouldn't cry if we got you. But at the end of the day, I think I'm not as hot on you as I was a few years ago. I don't think you're good enough for the pressing. I don't think you're the right fit tactically. I don't care how much a man gets paid, but I don't think you're worth the wages Arsenal will give you. Because if you're the highest, his agents played a blinder. If you're the highest paid player in Serie A on 12 million per season and you're moving to any Premier League club, forget Arsenal, Chelsea, Newcastle, Liverpool, whoever. Why on God's green earth would you want to take a wage cut? Especially because he's like 24, prime years for a good deal. Why would you want to? You'd want equal salary, even more. So it don't really make sense, man. Come a long way from 2022, and we're still linked with Cunha, who has a 60-odd million euros release clause. So we'll have to see. Arsenal and Chelsea have been linked with Ademola Lookman again, people, which is, they're not even trying anymore. PSG as well. They're not even trying to link us with anything credible. Antonio Cordero, a youngster in Spain. Apparently, some rumors actually said he's more or less a Newcastle player, funny enough. Apparently, Arsenal are still looking at the Malaga teenager, people, and we're locked in a battle to sign him, people. So we'll have to see. He's played 24 games in the Segunda Division at the moment, people. Features primarily apologies, as a left winger. So yeah, Arsenal, Real Madrid, Barca, and Newcastle all looking at him. We'll have to see, people. Football Transfers understands Arsenal and Trossard are moving closer to resolving the Belgian forwards contract situation. You never know what's going to happen, but again, in life, like, who accepts the first offer of anything? So when people, I'm not saying Trossard is going to sign a new deal or leave, but when people have seen he's rejected his first offer, people are like, oh my God, you don't think whatever I hope Saliba, Saka, Gabriel, Magalhaes, Martinelli, all of them sign new deals, Ethan and Lewis Skelly. But are they going to sign the first offer that's put in front of them? They want a bit more, club want a bit less. I might want, if I'm Trossard, realistic or not, I'm 30 odd. I might want 4 or 5 years on my deal. The club are saying 2 or 3. It happens, innit? I'll keep Trossard. Like, obviously, if offers come that you can't refuse, fair enough. But if I was building the squad in my image, I think, priority, evidently a number 9. An upgrade on whoever's on this left-hand side for Arsenal. Well, whoever's up there. Number 9, striker, centre mid. And we need depth. Trossard would be Trossard. If I was our Arsenal manager, Trossard will play enough football for me in the 2025-26 season, irrespective of what we're doing. He's experienced. He's shown he can do a super sub thing. Him, Martinelli, Kai Havertz. If your form is out of this world, you'll start games. You've got nothing to worry about. You're in the mix, and we still need a bit more. You know what? If you can't flog Fabio Vieira, he might as well just be on the bench. And I hate to be that guy. And he forced his move, rightly so. He's played a lot more games at Fulham. Should have kept Smith Rowe. Arsenal have been making me move mad, like yesterday, I'm watching Eddie and Nketiah videos. I know it was the right decision to sell Eddie, but I'm even thinking to make videos. In hindsight, should we have kept him? He's still the only player I've seen score a hat-trick. We've seen him perform in big games. He could have done a job. I know. You see what the club is doing? See what's going on, people. Anyways, we can reveal that the fresh and positive talks took place during the Gunners' mid-season warm weather training camp in Dubai. Now, I'm not throwing any shade. I don't know if this website or Steve K's ever been right about things, but yeah. Discussions over a new deal had stalled in January, primarily due to disagreements over the length of the contract on offer. Football Transfers is told that negotiations have been reopened with both parties keen to reach an agreement. We all know he joined in January of 2023. It feels time goes fast, innit? Feels like it just the other day you and Jorginho walked in. He's on 90 grand a week. Arsenal had initially proposed an extension, but the 30-year-old forward is holding out for a longer-term commitment. Sources indicate that Trossard is seeking a 2-year extension with the option of a further year, along with a pay increase that would likely take him into 6-figure weekly earnings. Naturally, fair enough. And you're gonna have to really, like, you're gonna have to put him on a little 115, 120 maybe. And that all of these things impact stuff. Sources indicate, oh, sorry, I read that already. While no final agreement has been reached, there's a growing optimism that a deal can be struck with both the player and the club eager to continue their successful partnership. Arsenal agreed to re-engage in talks earlier this month, and recent developments suggest that negotiations are heading in a favourable direction after a breakthrough in Dubai. Since arriving in North London, Trossard has proven to be a valuable asset for Mikel Arteta's side. The Belgian has made 104 appearances. You know what's so sad, yeah? Trossard's made 100 appearances before Tomiyasu, and that just tells you where we're at with injuries. And even that, like, Thomas Partey's clearly been at this club for years. Pardon me. I bet I'm gonna look. I bet Tomiyasu definitely ain't played that many. No, sorry, Thomas Partey definitely ain't played that many more appearances than Trossard. Let me look. Full stats, please. How many times have you played for Arsenal Football Club? Yeah, Tomiyasu's played 84 times, 65 in the league. It's peak, man, and he's such a good player. Thomas Partey, I'm willing to bet 118 appearances for Arsenal in total, if that. Well, I'm right and wrong. For Arsenal Football Club, he's played 151. So yeah, he's not that far off Partey, telling you everything really. In the Premier League, Partey's only played 118 times. So I was right about something, educated guess. But yeah, big up Trossard. Hopefully he signed that new deal. Is there any other foolishness to console ourselves with about the summer? This summer better be the best thing since sliced bread. What's this? Gyökeres might be one of the most coveted players in the Premier League, but it is claimed that the Sweden international has become a problem on and off the field for Sporting. So he's picked up an injury. He failed to train against Dortmund. We got done by the clickbait then. Apparently, we're working on a new deal for Ethan. As you would imagine, you've again hear rumors around Martinelli, Bukayo Saka, and everybody where that's concerned. We were linked with Jamie Gittins, people. And apparently, Dortmund expect to get 80 to 100 million euros for him. He's attracting interest from both Chelsea and Bayern Munich. So we're going to have to see how that one works out as well, people. Smash the like button. You lot being lazy, man. 118. Let me see the comments, man, because you lot really and truly is what we want. Yeah, man, forget Ben Yedder, man. Forget Ben Yedder. Ben Yedder, he's a wronging, mate. Didn't Diego Costa join Wolves like last season, stunk up the place? Yeah, he's an old man now, though. He's an old man. He's like 70. Like, he ain't going to pull up any trees. We know we're not getting any of them free agents, man. That Sesko guy is not a 100 million player. Get the F out of here. Football's about what you can hustle, man. Like, if he comes and does the job and develops, you could say, is that worth a... And I'm not saying Sesko will ever be in the same realm as Isaac, but people probably scoffed at that. It's fair to say Newcastle spent 80 million. Well done, if in that regard. So you never know. And where you got to probably look at it, the striker market's dead. He's 21, so there's longevity and resale value and all of that jazz. Everybody knows the Prem's got money. I don't think he's worth 100 million, but can you blame Leipzig? Leipzig's thing is we get players, develop them, sell them. And they don't really care what, like, obviously, from a human point of view, I'm sure they care. But from a business point of view, if he's the best thing since sliced bread for Arsenal or he goes Chelsea or United, he's terrible. They don't care. They just want to sell to the highest bidder. There's conflicting reports with Sesko as well. Some, like we saw there, it was saying gentleman's agreement and there's release clauses and there's not. Who knows, man? I think 60 to 70 million does it, if I'm honest. Finally caught you on a live, bro. Cam, where you been? You're part of the furniture, man. Yeah, we're in a bad way. Hopefully there's a younger in the youth team who can take this chance. I hope that Obi kid is watching this. It would have been his opportunity. Probably, man. Newcastle will need a striker in the summer. Is that coming to the Emirates? I'm talking it to existence. Fair play to Leipzig. If they get 100 million for Sesko, don't blame them. Prem Club stupid enough to pay. And to be fair, where you look at some of the other moves that have happened, of course, it's without context, yeah? Declan Rice has cost 100 million. Kai Havertz has cost 65. Darwin Núñez cost a mad thing. Caicedo cost a mad thing. Look at the price tags. Like, it's not what it's what you can hustle. Man are saying 60 million for Watkins. It's genuinely what you can hustle now. Everyone's got money. It is what it is. Now, Leipzig's a bit different because we all know their model, yeah? And I don't know how to articulate this point, but let's just say, obviously, Newcastle are a big club. Isaac, let's just say Real Madrid want Isaac, yeah? We all know Isaac costs 100 million. But he probably costs more than 100 million to Newcastle because they're going to have to find a replacement. And he's a match winner, one of the first names on the team sheet. End of the day, being a manager is stressful, you know. Eddie Howe's got bare every manager, but in Newcastle's case, Eddie Howe's got bare things to consider. If we get Champions League, people are telling him about PSR, physios are talking about injuries, studying opponents, all of that. You know, you've got so many things to do. People like Isaac make your life slightly less difficult because you know, okay, cool, you can score goals. My defender's going to defend. This guy's going to get a clean sheet. So it's what you can hustle. And the playing field's been leveled in the Premier League. Everybody's got P's. United had to pay, 80 million for Harry Maguire. Big up Benjamin White, but we bought him off the back of one Premier League season from Brighton for 50 million. It's the going rate. You either get these guys before they become the guys they are now, or you pay the going rate, or you find alternatives, or you do none of that and you scream about we tried and propaganda comes about we're going to do the mad thing in the summer. I don't live in London, but you're telling me there ain't a young gunman in the youth team. At this point, Marlo, I'll be honest, I don't think there's anyone that stands out and screams. But say the Cabbers, the Sego Juniors, the Nathan Butler, or Deji's, like you got to give them a chance now. Like it is what it is. Like if they're good enough, maybe they do a madness and there's a fairy tale. They're gonna have to contribute. There's nobody else. Arteta waffles a lot about internal solutions. These are your internal solutions. You got to do that. You got to find something around Sterling and Trossard and potentially Ethan through the middle. You got to know who's coming off the bench if things are going left. You're going to have to rotate at some point purely because there's 16 games. On paper, there's 16 games left for Arsenal Football Club. 2 in the Champions League, which obviously we all hope there's more. 14 at most in the Prem. Like, again, I'm no mathematician, but what's 90 times 16? That's how many minutes or something, isn't it? These men, and this is assuming there's no suspensions, there's no injuries. And you know what everyone's forgetting as well? I wouldn't even say everyone's forgetting. Sterling can only play 15 games of these 16. He can't play against Chelsea. We got Chelsea coming up at the Emirates. You can't play. So he's going to have to pattern up something different in that. You're hoping. I would say more than anything, yeah, I'm more optimistic about Martinelli returning than Saka, if I'm honest with you. We need them. Mika Beref did get a hat-trick. It is crazy, man. It does make you think that Eddie Nketiahs, the Balligans, the Mika Berefs, could have done a thing. Carlos Vela, dead that, man. I've always had a bit of an agenda, man. Surely there's some YouTuber or some shit that can do a job for a few weeks, keep us in the champo. Shout Cecil Curtis, man. Did you get your boots on? I'm not even a striker. You lot will get on to me. You know how you not big up Lee Judges. I'll see you lot on AFTV. He's not good enough. He's not good enough. How's Arteta playing deluded? You're taking a left back and you're making him a striker. It wouldn't bang, man. Big up Unks though, man. Zero reason to rush back Saka. Zero reason. Look at all the nonsense we're having to look at because this board has no vision. I won't lie, man. At this point, this just feels like a support group, man. Arsenal support group. I'm privileged to be here with you, lot, man. We differ on our opinions, but it's nice to. I'm not gonna lie. It's nice to be here with you, lot, across Twitch and YouTube. I know that, mate, you're actually not crazy. You know that you're not just because some fans will tell you everything's fine, like, and it's all bordered in cope and hopium. And I'm not saying to scream and shout and this and that and the other. Like, we can't make out everything's rosy. I'm having Firmino, but if you're getting that Saudi money, you know, they're not going to do anything. And surely ain't the Saudi market closed? Like, even that's another thing. Could we have, obviously, it don't make sense, but could you have explored the Saudi market? The forward that Arsenal should be looking at, who's ready right now to fight for a place, Yuri Alberto. He can't stop scoring for the Corinthians at the moment, around 20 to 25 million. Foxy, I could be wrong. I don't really rate him, you know. Again, I'm always open to be proven wrong. If we lose to Leicester, I feel a continuous decline in performances and a significant drop in the table. But that is peak, man. Onwards and upwards, 65k soon. DG Nick, my guy. I always see you in the comments. Appreciate that. I told you, look, we're getting on everything. We're getting 70k this year. I could not shake that feeling. I still get cold chills of how I felt on the 31st of December, literally 11:59 on the 31st of December 2024, and subsequently midnight now. To know that I did not achieve that goal. It made me feel sick. I'm not going out like that again. We're not going out like that. I only hold Arsenal to the same standards I set myself. Arsenal failed the fans. I failed you subscribers. I ain't failing you lot again. Rice, £100 million player. Hey, we got so many problems before people look at Declan Rice. But it's what you can hustle. In an ideal world, we didn't want to pay 105 million for Rice, but it is what it is. Isaac's price was a risk from us at the time and it paid off. Is that because you did your homework? The same things that that Sociedad did, because Sociedad reaped the best rewards. They bought Isaac for 10 million, sold him for 80. They saw the vision. Whoever it was at Newcastle, Eddie Howe, whoever, they said, you know what, bring him. And let's be sensible as well. Like, because of that, and his stats weren't out, like you can see evidently Isaac's quality. There must have been people internally at Newcastle like, are you sure? What's going on? Some people were nervous. Some people were were a bit more optimistic. It's worked out. Even looking at Mo Salah, it's well known. Jurgen Klopp wanted Julian Brandt. Now we could assume Brandt would have went to Liverpool and did the Salah stuff, but it's fair to say someone spoke with conviction. It's fair to say Mohamed Salah's been a decent player for Liverpool. For me, it's like we're half stepping. We're half trying to do the youngster thing, half trying to buy established players. We'll break our transfer record like Declan Rice, and then when it's coming to others, we're doing nonsense. We're half going about it. You can't do things in life half arcs. Looks like we're gonna need to be a 300 million window to fix our issues, and we know they won't do that. If I'm honest, I think in the summer we sign a striker. We don't necessarily sign a winger. If we sign a winger, we don't sign a striker. I think a centre mid's a defo. I think I think centre mid, goalkeeper, or keepers. And one on the best of days, one of the attacking options would be addressed, because if they sign a striker, they can pivot towards Ethan that can play out wide, and Martinelli and Saka and all these guys are fit. Me personally, in an ideal world, I want 3 signings immediately to that starting 11: a striker, a left winger, a centre mid, and then it's about the depth, man. But it's easy for me to sit here and say that, but yeah. And what I want and what I don't want to see is, by all means, if you want Sesko, Zubamendi, Nico Williams, Garcia, these lot have release clauses. You've done all the talking. They want to sign for us. If they're your guys, get them. But you see, if you don't get these guys and you don't sign the same said players, the same position, please don't tell me we tried. Please don't tell me that all that you're Arsenal fans, all that crap that they come out with, allow it, innit? Because I need solutions. I need results. I don't need excuses. I don't need context. It's a results-driven business. There's context behind every Premier League game. In May, we're going to look at the wins, losses, and draws. And naturally, if you add nuance, every fan base over the 38 games, there's games you've won and you've played worse than when you've lost. There's times where you drew, where you didn't deserve to draw and you deserved a bit more. You deserved nothing and you got something. So there's context behind everything. But at the same time, all that matters is the narrative or the results. How many wins, how many losses, how many draws. Same logic has to be applied in the transfer market. I sympathize with you lot. I know things can go left. I know players can say, yeah, I'm joining you, and then they flip the script and you have to react, and it's not as straightforward. But I don't care about that. You lot are in those privileged positions because, quote unquote, you're knowledgeable enough, you're competent enough, you're experienced enough, and you've worked in that. And none of these positions that we need to fill have been anything new. You knew you needed 2 centre mids the moment you signed Declan Rice. You tried to make the Kai Havertz thing work. It didn't bang. You've known for a couple of years now you need that long-term partner. If you tried to buy Sesko or any other striker in the summer of last year, you didn't just wake up in the summer. You knew you needed a striker for a hot minute. We know that we're relying on Martinelli and Saka. And even when everyone's fit, the only one that's pulling their weight in terms of goals and assists and match winning is Saka. You know you needed that. You've been knowing you need a goal. If anything, we've been the most proactive with addressing goalkeeping areas and whatnot. And then beyond that, I think we need another defender. But let's get these ones through the door first, man. Vlahovic, in case we don't get Sesko. You think everything's got to be on the table. Everything's got to be on the table. And a left back. The man I'm talking about, Firmino and Costa. This club is a joke. And Trossard getting a contract extension for playing us. This club's finished. Bit harsh on Trossard. We could do a lot worse. I'd give Trossard a renewal. It's a weird one, though. If he wants to leave, Trossard's someone I wouldn't force out the door. But if there's offers you can't turn down, fair enough. But I think that's cool. I think that's cool. Like, give the man his new deal. Give him a little 2-year deal. You're part of the squad. Obviously, address all the areas we've spoken about. I think that's harsh. I think that's harsh, man. I think that's very harsh. If we lose to Leicester, I'll officially log out of this season. I won't be watching any Arsenal games or football until the end of next year. Watch Moreno get 5 goals playing as a 9 for the rest of the season, and the board will be convinced we don't need anything in the summer. You know what the saddest thing is? Yeah, I can see the reality of Moreno playing up front, crosses coming into the box. And the saddest thing is, in terms of replicating the system of David Raya going long, unless you're going to have runners from deep consistently in midfield, Moreno, well, you've been getting bundled over in the league anyways, but you could see the profile why it would, quote unquote, work on paper. Why do we have to wait for the summer? We could agree a deal now for a striker to join in the summer. Instead, we'll probably wait until the season starts to make a deal. You'd imagine all clubs, whether they're able to get players or not, everybody's talking. Well, everybody's probably been talking for months. Half of the summer signings we see, they're being done as we speak, if not before. So yeah, man. I honestly would be excited. So I think you mean not be excited by an experienced sporting director than any player. I'm not sure you're saying there, Cal, but I want an experienced man. But I think the experienced man has to be given power to say no, or like his voice holds weight, because it does feel like certain people's voices on the recruitment front are stronger than others. And I think January was a mixture of everything. I think Arteta begged for players and he was let down. And I also think he was suggested 1-2 things and he weren't on it for whatever reason, rightly or wrongly. I just don't think everybody's to be blamed for everything and everyone's faultless. End of the day, you lot make the decisions. You lot have ripped up the season. You lot have shot yourselves in the foot. You lot have missed the mark in the last 2 windows. I feel sorry for the players. I feel sorry for the fans. In terms of injuries and the recruitment, I don't feel sorry for Mikel Arteta or the Cronkies, which is a shame. Carlos Vela's available. I'll take your word for it. Mika Berev would have helped us. But again, everything he's done's worked out. You went and got more game time. You ended up at Monaco getting tax-free money, scoring hat-tricks week in, week out. Boy, I did say in the summer, he's one I wish, not necessarily to make it Arsenal, but I wish we renewed his deal and loaned him out again, because I think there was more money to be made there. Thoughts on the Adeyemi links? Big up, DG. I know that player's been your pick for a while. Nicholas, it'd make me pull my hair out. He hasn't developed as much as I thought. His decision-making is pony. But I think there's a player in there, and I'm having him. I'm having him. He can play on the left, play off the right, play through the middle. Very good on the counter. Very positive lad. You can tell he's got a good attitude. Occasionally capable of moments of brilliance. It's just about taking it to another level now. But easily, he would frustrate the daylights out of me, man. I've got a feeling he's going to use Moreno as a number 9 because of his physical profile. I hope I'm wrong, but it's the most Arteta thing that could happen. And you know what's so mad? I don't want to see it, but you've got to plan that. You've got to make it happen. You got to find a way. Smash the like button, people. You lot acting. Look how far down the barrel we're looking because this board has no vision. We should have took a gamble on John Duran. His head was. I'm not saying you're wrong, but he's come on, man. When you see them P's being offered to you, his head's gone. We weren't on to him anyways. His head's gone. And plus, even with the Watkins thing, how far does that go? Because we've heard conflicting reports. We've actually nowadays we hear that he was offered to Arsenal, and Arsenal tried to be cute and clever and do the 40 million thing and hope they say, you know what, you can go rather than sell a more long-term striker in John Duran. That didn't bang. So if that was offered to us, what were we doing? We were very reactive, like very reactive. Even the fact that, if I'm really harsh, Bukayo Saka and Gabriel Jesus' injuries is what accelerated you lot to think you need someone. You shouldn't have to, if you're an atheist and then you lot can whatever, but it's like being an atheist, not believing in God, finding out you're terminally ill, and now you want to pray, which is there's never a good time, never a bad time to find God if that's what you want to do. But it's too late. It's too late now. It's too late now. Or it's like you want to be a criminal and now you're crying when you're in prison. Like you know what you signed up for. It's too late. Fix the roof while the sun's shining. Don't wait for the house to be flooded and water damage to think, oh my God, maybe we should fix the roof. Because now you got to do bare things. It's all coulda, woulda, shoulda, man. Nah, lad, that way I'm not having Ben Yedder, man. We don't condone what he did. The most Arteta thing he could do is Ethan false 9. I mean, it is. One thing I'll never forgive Arteta for, yeah, out of all the things, when you played Smith, I don't know why this stung me. You played in a quarterfinals, it might have even been a semis of the Europa League against Villarreal. You playing Smith Rowe as a false 9. Crazy. Do your bird, bro. Trust me. You made your bed, you got to lie in it. Fans, we can cry. Players, they can cry. Mikel Arteta, all of these things. If anybody cares, go back to the summer. I said there's a lot of luxuries I will cut Arteta and certain things. Any knock-on effects of not doing what we needed to do in the summer market, you're going to have to hold that. I'm past the point of caring if it's the Cronkies, if it's Arteta. Arteta's wrong for this, Cronkies right for that, vice versa. Shake it all about. You're ruling it together. Maybe if I was a fly on the wall, I could see the whole picture. It's a madness. If I feel sorry for anything, unpopular opinion, it's actually Jason Ito. It's actually Jason Ito. You're a novice being asked to pull a rabbit out the hat. If I had to feel sorry for anyone, it's you. Because people are judging you, myself included. I don't even know what you're doing. I feel sorry for you, if anything, but I don't feel sorry for no one. You knew this could happen. You lot are too smart and intelligent. Too much. You've seen this happen at Arsenal. You've obviously Arteta's worked at City. You know the importance of having a squad. It is what it is. I only feel sorry for the fans and the players. You know, Declan Rice said, "Oh, the gaffer had to play Tierney left wing. I'm sure he wants to sign someone." Declan Rice chats too much, but I'm happy he chatted because that lets me know. Maybe I'm even reaching, but that lets me know you lot thinking the same thing. And even that, what are they thinking? Raw. I normally sit next to Saka in training. Saka's not there. Martinelli's not there. This one's not there. That one's not there. We got Chelsea. We got Anfield. Injuries can strike. I'm carrying a little knot, but I'm gonna have to play now. It's peak. It's so peak, and a lot of it is self-inflicted, man. That Watkins stuff was PR. Why would you wait until 2 days before the window to put a bid in? It's all PR. That's all the club is. I hear it. Big up DG Arsenal, shameless and a shambles season done. Just got to wait for Carnival to win something and to catch vibes. Not many centre forwards out there, period, right now. The only option is one for the future. I hear that, but in the summer, Arsenal are going to get linked to Sesko, Isak, Vlahovic, this one, that one. And then there's going to be a new striker that's in their early to mid-20s that we're all saying you got to go and get. I hear it. It's not our job, though. It's these man's jobs to go find forwards, you know, or players in anywhere. If we're honest, the power is in the hands of people we don't and will never have access to. Tim Lewis. Unless this season blows up, I don't see how things change. Wish I could disagree with that, but I ain't seen truer words yet, man. The whole management and board got to take their share of blame. That's where I'm at. I'm not here for the he say, she say stuff. Everyone's in it together. In the same way, if you pull the rabbit out the hat in the summer or in January, I'm not really interested in Arteta opt for this. The board wanted that. If I think you did it, if you think you lot did your thing, everyone gets their praise. That's just how I operate. I'll give you all your on the pitch, off the field. You all get your praise when I feel it's worthy. When it's not, you all have to hold that. Trossard has proven he's better than average Prem player. Man's a baller. Oh, seen that already. It's madness, man. Big up the New York ones, man. Appreciate you. We do need players. Who are we playing up top? Who are the options from the academy? Once again, I mean, from the academy, Max Dolman's too young to actually make his Prem debut in it. So obviously you've got Ethan, but let's exclude Ethan because he's part of the first team. You've got Kai Edwards. You've got the young Andre who's 16, 17. He's not going to get a look in, but I would say people I think are more than likely with the context to get a look in. Kaba, who's been on the bench. Nathan, who's technically made his debut. Sego Jr., who last year made his debut. Kai Edwards. And at least 3 of them names I've said, they haven't pulled up any trees on loan, but they've been on loan. So there might, you know, playing the senior game, there might be some element of hitting the ground running. You're going to have to utilize them. The reality is you don't know how good or bad they are until you give them a chance. And if they're able to take the chance and solidify themselves in Arsenal's team in some capacity, great. If they put themselves in the shop windows for others, great. And if they're not good enough, then they're not good enough. And I feel sorry for them as well, because naturally, if you put yourself in them lot's shoes, yeah, maybe they are naive, but you're all 20 plus, right? You've all been on loans. You all left that academy. You've left that academy stage now. There's no point gassing up under 21s football because you're stronger than everyone, you're faster than everyone. You need to be outside your comfort zone. You know, you need to be playing in a game where everything's happening. You know, academy football, you got too much time. Men's football, you ain't got no time. Plus, there's the aspect of people are fighting for promotion. People are fighting to get relegated. People lose jobs. You know, people are fighting for their livelihoods. They need to be exposed to that. Sink or swim settings. Get experience. I always say, I don't think you're a professional footballer. As exaggerated as this is, yeah. I don't think you're a professional footballer. If I had a young son, like if Lewis Skelly was my brother or whatever, I would say, you know, I would tell him you're not a pro baller yet. And I'm not saying he doesn't think like this, but you're not. I don't care if you're mocking Haaland and Arteta, this and that. You ain't got 100 career appearances. You're not a pro baller yet. When you get that, pattern up. And that's why, unfortunately, even the academy circuit, do you know how much people sign a pro deal and then they just end up not being ballers? It's tough. Yeah, you know, and a lot of these guys get in these scenarios where you're at Liverpool, you're at Man United, you're at Arsenal, you're at this one, you're at that one, yeah. You don't make the grade, you get released. You go on, you're trying to get Championship, League One, League Two, whatever, you know. You get offered to it. An agent offers you to a manager. They're like, oh, you know what? I got this player who's at Arsenal. He's at this one. He's at that one. They'll listen. Once they hear that, their ears will go up. But then they start to look at how many appearances he's got. Mate, he's not for me. He's young. I'm trying to stay in the division. I'm going to lose my job in the next 3-4 games. They're not gonna go for that, innit? So yeah, I think I feel sorry for those young players because you need to be either leaving the club permanently or going on loan. But naturally, the club is not going to sanction Kai Edwards, Nathan, Sego Jr., any of these guys' loans because of what we're facing right now. And they weren't going to do it anyways because of what we're facing right now. They're going to sit there and say, you lot are not going on loan. We might need you, even if you're just on the bench and participating in training. It's crazy, man. People are 1 hour in. Why haven't we got the likes yet? They hate me, man. They hate me, man. They hate me, man. They buying it, man. 40 more likes till we have 100. I know the replay dons will get me, but yeah, they hate me. If I ever catch that mug, Michael Oliver. Oh, now they want to talk about Michael Oliver. Just play on. Always blaming other things. Marcel, I ain't involved, man. Just play on. Boy, he did save you, you know. McAllister didn't get booked. Salah didn't get booked. Canate probably fortunate. I'm just trying to rattle him, man. But yeah, Conte aired it out when Tottenham's board didn't want to sign the players that he wanted. Arteta needs to do that now, so we as fans know it's the owner's fault. He ain't gonna do that though, because he's not built like that. And like, at the end of the day, obviously, you're never gonna badmouth your owners. I mean, your employers, but he sits there and says they're the best owners. There's been times at other clubs he could have been sacked. For a manager that's been in the game 5 years, you know, the club is being made in your image. You got the biggest voice. They put a lot of faith in you. Let you get goalies and left backs galore. Gave you a new deal before a ball was kicked. You're as much to blame as everybody's in this together. Appreciate you, Edward. Had to hit YouTube to drop a like. Appreciate that. They took a sip of the Oliver drink and didn't like the taste. They're going to have to own it, man. Come on, Skelly's heroes will get the gold. Big up little Skelly, man. And I just play the young players, man. Like we were talking about yesterday, we're stuck in between, waiting for a big name signing that can never happen, but putting all the pressure on young players who aren't quite there yet. Exactly. I imagine we just played, I think it'd be Trossard, false 9, Sterling, left, even right until one of them gets injured from workload. It is what it is, isn't it? It is what it is, man. I'm braced to see that, especially around the injuries. I really don't want to see Mikel Moreno up front, but I think that's going to happen. I'd rather, at this point, man, just play the kids, man. Like, just play the kids. Like, whoever's a young striker, young winger, there's your opportunity, innit? Show us what you're at. Gonna have to use them. We've got 16 games. 16 games left. All right, say less. I'll remember this. Marcel, I appreciate you, but dead that, man. You're moving mad, CS. You're moving mad. But big up everyone that was at, you know, on the watching my videos from yesterday. You're moving mad. It's always comments always funny depending on who I put on this platform. I must admit, man. But the platform's open for all, man, woman. Don't really, and that's why I try and get everyone in it. I don't like different colors, religions, backgrounds, social experiences. Definitely not experiments. Just yeah, man. Like the platform's for everyone, man. We're all connected by our love for football. Whether you're in America, England, wherever happens, man. Football's for all. And I try and make that the case. You're moving mad, man. You're moving mad. You're moving mad. And when the madness starts, on that note, though, people, I'm out of here, man. Check out the streams from yesterday. Big up you lot being tuned in today. I've got to go and get some things sorted. And then, yeah, I've got to go and get my stuff ready and fly around central London, man. So I'm going to love and leave you lot. Make sure your notification bells are on because, you know, there's always videos and clips and things of that ilk. Make sure you're following my second channel. Links are in the description where I've started to cut up more condensed clips for you guys, man. Try my best for you lot, man. So, yeah, on that note, God bless you all. Peace.
Against this right back, Charlie, definitely.
He always used to have to run that.
I think it's like